You guys should clap one more time.
Good idea. 1, 2, 3. Cool.
Nice.
And do you want me to throw this over to you? Oh, okay, you're good? Okay, cool.
And because of your gain, keep that nice and close. Look at our gains. Yeah.
Good gains. Hi, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Thanks for joining me online, on YouTube, on the internet, wherever you are watching or listening to this interview. I am here in New York, a wonderful, nice, well-decorated New York apartment right now, which was once owned by Moby, or leased by Moby.
That's exactly right.
By the way.
That's exactly right. I'm
sitting here with the wonderful, multi-talented Mr. Marc Rebillet. How you doing, man?
I'm good, Anthony. How are you?
I'll do one of these.
Hey.
Since the mic's in that hand.
Thank you for having me on your channel.
Thank you for having me in this apartment right now.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure.
So, Marc, if you didn't know, is a bit of a man about town at the moment in the meme community with these colorful videos of you performing on your keyboard, on your looper, and sort of pulling together these beat songs where it seems like you're improvising everything just off the top of your head. Often the lyrical content kind of goes in an absurd or ridiculous comedic direction.
Often, yeah.
What exactly drove you to this creative point? Because looking at your setup, laptop, the keyboard again, mixer, it's not that different than what a lot of people are kind of working with today in their home studio, but you're not uploading your, serious shot at a rap mixtape on SoundCloud. You're not pulling together a random experimental beat record on Bandcamp or whatever.
Yeah.
What brought you to this point where, you're coming out with these songs, but also videos as well, because there's a visual element to it too.
Yeah, that's true. I think, for like the better part of 6-7 years before I got this loop station, I was trying to just make beats. I was trying to produce beats. I've been playing piano since I was a kid, and transitioned out of acting as a career trajectory. Dropped out of my freshman year in college, and at that point decided all right, I guess I'll try and make music. So I spent a few years dicking around on that, and just basically trying to produce beats for rappers and stuff. And then a few years ago, I moved back to Dallas. I was living in New York, moved back to Dallas for family, and right at that time, I got this RC505, this loop station. And that sort of made a reality, this fantasy that I had had for years and years, which was basically I wish there was a way that I could basically load up a bank of all of these drum kits that I've put together over the years, bass sounds, plugins, synth sounds, all this shit. And I if I could just queue those up at will and fire them into a piece of equipment that would allow me to stack them and make shit immediately without thinking about it, and then on to the next one. It was some gift from heaven in that regard. So yeah, I got it. Immediately started figuring out how to make that happen, and and then sort of let it lie dormant for a while, until 3 years ago or so, when I just put a camera up and started filming myself doing stupid shit, and I just kept doing that.
So you'd been messing around with it for a little while, and then you decided that there should be a visual component to this, this is so good it needs to be seen or something.
I wouldn't go that far. No, I mean, originally I was making video. I made 10 or so videos of me just looking to camera and talking about stupid ideas that I had. I have a list of weird ideas that me and my friends have come up with for the last 10 years, called it an ideologue. And stupid shit an app, an obituary app that notifies senior citizens when their friends die, stupid shit like that.
Uh-huh.
And so after a few of those, I just set my shit up, and one of those was me fucking around on the keyboard and doing that. And yeah, I liked the way it looked. I was like, let's do this again. Found a way to hook the audio directly into the camcorder, and that's when I was like, all right, there's something here, at least something for me to fuck around with and pass the time with, Yeah.
And so you were talking about earlier trying to put together hip-hop beats and send them to rappers and stuff. Were there any that you had in mind that you were trying to reach out to? Did any of that go anywhere? It was all just kind of a dead end?
Mostly a dead end. There were a couple dudes that I worked with this dude who now goes by Logi, who did like a mixtape with Swarvy a
Okay.
little while back. Super cool dude. He's really talented. He used one of my beats. We composed a little bit together. And then Christoph Crane from, I guess, the Twin Cities, freestyler extraordinaire, cool dude, used a couple of my beats.
Yeah.
And then a few other rappers here and there. My friend Kevin put out a couple albums, but nothing that really like took off. You know, it's just something that I sort of grinded on while I was working a day job, and hoping and praying that like maybe one day in the distant future, something would click.
I ask because of some of your videos going viral recently, that there are people in the music industry that are literally fucking with you right now. I just did an interview with Kenny Beats, and I brought you up to him, and he said he's amazing. I love him. Tell him I love him.
Dude.
So.
That's awesome.
One of the more in-demand hip-hop producers right now is messing with your stuff.
That's insane to me. It's so absurd and insane to me.
and I also have to thank you for upping what is viewed as my talent level, because people think I'm you. So when people see you on camera being really talented and really amazing and full of energy and just dropping these beats, they're like, whoa, Anthony's really snapping on this track.
I love that. I didn't know Anthony Fantano had a looper set up and a channel with nobody watching. This is amazing. Yeah.
So yeah, I really appreciate you working for me inadvertently in that way.
My pleasure. Hey, can we just give a quick shout out to the Jean-Luc Picard teacups here? The next generation teacups. This is just elevates this interview to another level.
It does. It's quality. It adds to the decor of the apartment.
It does. The aesthetic is just hot right now.
Yeah. So let me ask you, where are you from? Because you're in New York now, but where did you originate? Did you move over here? Like where are you coming from?
I did. I moved over here. I want to say 4 months ago, and I moved here from Dallas. I was born in Dallas. Moved around a bunch as a kid. I spent some of my childhood in New Jersey, Inglewood, Bergen County. Came back, lived in Atlanta for a little bit, and then spent the remainder of my childhood in Dallas. I moved to Paris for a year. I was there for a year. I'm a dual citizen, easy to live over there and work over there. I had a horribly depressing job waiting tables at like an American diner that serves banana pancakes.
Yep.
Line out the door around the corner. Parisians, like, they want our diner food so badly. Terrible job. Awful, depressing job.
It's such a cultural rarity.
Yeah.
Over here, we're just like, we have hoity-toity food critics just like, oh my God, this fucking French-style cuisine.
Right.
And over there, they're just fucking sick of it.
They're like, yo, give me a double burger. Give me a fuck. They had a
Give me a
milkshake.
patty melt right now.
That's truly what we were serving.
Fuck these snails.
Dude, they had a milkshake. It's the most racist milkshake. It was a peanut butter and chocolate milkshake. It was called the Obama.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So that's where I worked. And then I moved to New York for a couple of years. After those couple of years, I moved back to Dallas for family. And about 2 or 3 years in is when I started fucking around with the looper setup and started to play like my first professional gig. And so I got a bunch of gigs under my belt in Dallas, like well over 100 gigs just playing residencies, 3-4 nights a week. And basically just built up a little local audience there.
Yeah. I imagine something like that just kind of like, and again, this was before you were getting a lot of the viral internet success that we're talking about. So you just kind of became locally known as the Dallas freak with the looper.
Exactly.
With the amazing live set.
Like, what the fuck is this idiot doing? Talking about Tostitos.
You have to have played so many shows where at first people are just like, what's going to happen here?
Oh my God, dude, are you kidding? Yeah. I mean, like the first 3 or 4 months was like the most awkward shit. I mean, I'm sitting in a dive bar with 15 people who are not there to see me. They're there to have a drink, and I'm talking about fucking that pussy. And just licking that juice, and they're like trying to have a Manhattan and turning to me like, what the fuck is this dude doing right now? Some people leaving, some people sticking around, but the people that own the places thought it was interesting, kept me booked week after week, and like eventually, 6-7 months in, we're packing the place out every week, and it's just
that's
crazy.
a huge commitment. to stick with you for that long.
I know.
That's a hardcore fan.
I'm surprised. I'm flabbergasted and very grateful that they did.
So, I mean, that had to be a bit of an aha moment in that you realize that, like, okay, so there is kind of an in-person visual sort of element to, this being done sort of on the fly that could be experienced on the internet just through YouTube.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's sort of been something that I've been navigating, is that, when people now who have only seen, before the way it was is I had a bunch of people who came to see me live every week and maybe weren't necessarily familiar with my online work. Now it's the other way around, where people are coming to see me who have never seen me live and have only seen my shit online. So it's like the show is definitely different than the online videos in that the thing is fully improvised. It's all made up. I'm not like a jukebox playing my greatest hits.
Yeah.
I'm just, fuck it. Whatever happens, I don't know. What am I feeling? What is the audience saying? How's their energy? Are they like low key? I'll do something low key, or maybe I'll fuck with them and like go big on dance or whatever. I don't know.
So obviously there's a lot of contextual stuff kind of driving you to do what you do and the equipment that you use, but is there anything that you could kind of relay to the audience as far as, I guess, like a formal musical influence for a lot of what you're doing? Like, are there any producers or rappers or singers or multi-instrumentalists that inspire you to do what you do?
Oh, yeah. Reggie Watts, first and foremost.
Okay, yeah.
Absolute.
That's an
legend.
aha moment.
Yeah. When I saw him for the first time, like maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I saw this performance that he did at Google for like the engineers at Google, and it's like 50 of the most incredible minutes of improvisation that I've ever seen. It blew my mind. I was like, how the fuck can I like do something like this in my own way? He was absolutely the biggest inspiration. Because he basically did it for, you know what I think about Reggie? I feel like Reggie Watts is the first musical comedy guy where the music isn't shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's always like, if there's music and comedy, it's almost guaranteed that there's not going to be a lot of effort put into the music, or that the music is going to be fairly predictable, or like sort of template style music for you to like say comedy over. Yeah. Reggie was, I feel like, the first dude to say like, yo, the music needs to be really dope too. And so that was, at least, I don't know, maybe there were people that came before him that did that. No disrespect to Weird Al at all, but I mean, you know, he's using other people's sort of templates and shit to do his thing over.
Exactly.
And Reggie was just dope, like through and through, just musically dope.
Original material.
Exactly.
And music that you could legitimately call comedy music, as opposed to something like Frank Zappa, which would just be like rock music, but with kind of a bit of a comedic or satirical spin to it.
Right,
you know, not necessarily something that you would invite people out to in the same way that you would a comedy show. Right. You know. Yeah. Like it. You know, it's a rock performance through and through. Yeah. Yeah. So. Exactly. Yeah. I think he was a massive inspiration. And then, like, production wise, Madlib, Flying Lotus, you know, Nina Simone, not production, but just performance, you know, John Lee Hooker. Yeah, well, I mean, you do play keys, so.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And she's one of the best. Mary Lou Williams, got to give a big shout out to Mary Lou Williams, Sly Stone. Yeah, just these people who, like, big orchestration, big impassioned performances with, like, energy out from their body out onto the floor, you know?
Well, that's another thing. I mean, you like the music and the production to sound good, but it seems like a lot of it comes down to you acting out as much as possible in front of all of it. I mean, how important is that?
I mean, essential, I think. I don't think it would have caught on as it has begun to without that. You know, I would just be like making some R&B shit or whatever. Sure. But yeah, I think my history in like acting has definitely helped, because it's just like face the camera, give the camera some love, give the audience some love, get out there. You know, you're not just making music. It's like, it's a show. It's a show. Bang, boom. that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there is, in a refreshing way, something to what you're doing that's kind of lacking in a lot of more indie and underground acts these days. I mean, people talk about how rock music is not as relevant as it used to be.
Yeah.
And hip hop is kind of the current zeitgeist.
Yeah.
And surely that has a lot to do with sound, tone, aesthetic. But also, I feel like hip hop has kind of replaced rock in terms of that rock star ethos. A lot of underground rock these days is kind of, and not to say that it's bad. I enjoy a lot of music that takes on this tone, but it's introspective, it's reflective, it's, maybe more low key or something like that. Even the more aggressive stuff can be kind of standoffish and leave a bit of a wall between the performer and the audience.
That's true.
Meanwhile, it's rappers who are acting those out there and eccentric and in your face and trying to put themselves in front of you as hard as possible. And, I feel like you're kind of like jumping past that fourth wall and you're just like, ugh.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. That's an interesting point though. I haven't thought about that, how like rock has become a little more reserved, I guess, as a genre. Like, I mean,
I've also heard people talk about it in an interview. Alice Cooper bitched me about it.
Oh, really?
He's like, rock stars, they didn't want to be rock stars anymore. And so he kind of ranted about that.
Yeah. I mean, there is something to be said for that. I don't know. I'm sure you could make cases, to cases against that, but I feel like, it's about the spectacle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's
it's about the spectacle.
Yeah, modern hip hop, modern rap, trap based shit has like turned that whole thing into a big mainstream spectacle.
And look at what people like Travis Scott are doing at their live show, where he has like the roller coasters and all the the neon signage and everything like that. Meanwhile, to go back to Alice Cooper again, I mean, back in the day, his shows were like, almost like horror experiences, and they had fake snakes and fake heads coming off and stuff like that.
Dude.
And nobody in the rock world is doing stuff like that anymore.
That's
I mean, the
true.
closest that you can kind of come to that is maybe a band like Ghost live. They have like the nameless ghouls and the masks and the face paint and all the religious iconography and everything in the background.
Right.
I mean, it's still a pretty static rock performance, but like there's a strong visual element to it. You know?
I feel like it seems like a lot of stuff sort of in the independent sphere has become stripped down and sort of like we have this obsession with seeing people raw, transparent, just you. I'm a singer. Watch me do my thing. I think.
And there's some people who are so talented they can get away with it.
Oh my God!
If you're Elliott Smith.
Oh yeah, dude.
You don't have to be anything other
You
than
don't
Elliott
want
Smith.
a spectacle, right? Exactly. I just want to see you sad with a guitar. Like, just give me that.
Sure.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. There's definitely something to be said for a spectacle. People love it. People respond to it. And I don't know. It's just get the energy up,
Well, I mean, hanging out with you for the small amount of time that I have so far, you seem like a pretty energetic guy.
I definitely am.
How much of what we're seeing on stage is, you just being yourself, maybe you just being your true self, or are you kind of creating another beast that, you're kind of becoming and showing the crowd?
I think it's probably a little bit of both. It's definitely couched in me, just in terms of like my mannerisms and the things that I think about. But the outward sort of physical intensity and yelling at people and talking a lot about buttholes and stuff. It's
You're telling me in everyday life you don't talk about buttholes just as much, or maybe more.
That's why I don't have any friends. Yeah. I mean, they got tired of it. Mark, stop with the buttholes, dude.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I'm
So
sorry.
you had to take it online.
Yeah, exactly.
To
You
where
guys
that-
don't want me. The internet wants me.
The internet wants me to talk about buttholes.
Yeah.
I'll go where buttholes are an accepted topic of
They're
discussion.
in high demand. High demand. Just browse 4chan, browse B, and you'll see that.
And
no,
and that's where you're finding song topics.
that's exactly
just
it.
on B.
Yeah.
Just eating ass.
Do you need
and-
any inspiration?
So-
cruise
so-
through B.
So I mean, that is a legitimate question, though. How much, given how the meme community, ranging from people who might go on 4chan, ranging even to Black Twitter,
Yeah.
how heavily they've embraced you, how much of that is basically left an imprint on what you're doing and sort of feeding into what you're doing in a way, as it's not just Reggie Watts, it's
Right.
not just serious producers. There's obviously a a strong mimetic comedy sort of element to it too.
Yeah, there is, but you know what? I don't even think it's I don't think it's on purpose. Like it. I
think everyone in our age range is so steeped into it, you don't really need to think about it.
Right. It just like exists as part of the ethos.
It's the air that we're breathing.
Yeah, exactly.
The polluted
air of just the meme-filled air. We're all breathing.
I can't tell you how
time.
many nightmares I wake up from, and they're just literally SpongeBob meme compilations.
Yeah. Jesus. No, I mean, it's like it. Oh, can we check?
Yeah, check that.
We're rolling. Okay, cool.
You're so good.
I feel like the meme side of it, I don't even almost particularly understand. It's like I feel like I need to do some more homework in that regard, because I feel like I could use it more. You know, like I'm seeing some of this shit happen with like people putting stuff on Instagram with like that are just in that sort of meme template style, and then on Twitter now too. And I'm not.
And you're talking about your stuff?
Yeah. I'm not like grabbing onto that, I think, in the way that I should. I'm just like making stupid shit, and I guess it's memeable. I don't know.
In my own experience, there's very little that you can do about it outside of just kind of like feed into it and share it.
Oh, yeah.
Which kind of just like makes the hyperloop go even faster.
Right.
Because ultimately, at the end of the day, people are making that because they love what you're doing. You know, whether they're just loving it in passing because of some random piece of content they've stumbled upon, or they're familiar with what you do.
Right.
And sort of like giving the audience acknowledgement that you've seen it and that you like it too. For your hardcore fans that are making it, they'll just make more of it.
That's great. Well, you are, like maybe one of the most memed people on the internet.
Yeah.
I think, you know.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, you know, you definitely understand memes from the perspective of the audience.
Right.
But even as somebody who's been consuming memes for a while, when it comes to my own memology.
Yeah. Hey, Anthony, tell us about your memology, huh? I'd like to dive in deep into your memology.
Well, I'm a Scorpio, so you know that means that when it's Scorpio season, that's when the memes get real hot and heavy.
Yeah.
But still, even when it comes to my own stuff, it's still pretty perplexing. Like what exactly people latch onto and why they latch onto it and the context that it's used in. I put up a random video clip of me one time that you've probably seen of me just like getting gassed up for a review, and I decided, usually before a review I'll laugh or something, or I'll do something silly, and I'll sort of like cut into that at the very start of the review.
Yeah, right.
For a while, it would cause all of my comments to just be like, "Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing at the start of the review? Tell us what's funny. Why are you laughing?" But at the start of this one review, I decided to just be like, I was just like speaking in this growly Southern accent. I'm like, "Ooh, boy, he thick. He thick. That's a thick ass boy." So that's kind of how I started off one review, and I just clipped that and I threw it up on Twitter just because I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
And I think like a year later, people on like Euro football message boards are using it in compilations of videos that they're using for soccer players that they like, or like cutting into me going, "He's a thick ass boy," and. And again, I had no idea who in that community saw it, why they started using it. And it came to the point where I stumbled upon that clip again on YouTube by itself, and it has hundreds of thousands of views on it.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm just like, why?
Like Europe, I have noticed, is an excellent part of the world for like sharing shit. I mean, they get aggressive with that stuff. Mm-hmm. That the Europe sector and Asia sector of the world like took my Facebook stuff and just bang, 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 just rah. And thanks, Europe.
Shout out to Europe.
Big shout out to Europe.
Well, that's why you just had that big Euro tour.
That's right.
And the turnout for that was pretty good.
Sold them out. Yeah, and I've got, dude, it's nuts.
There are bands signed to popular indie labels that don't even get that kind of reception in Europe.
Dude, I don't even know I honestly don't know what the fuck is happening. We have a bigger Europe tour coming up January through February. I'm doing 29 dates in 31 days, which I'm really concerned about. I don't know how I'm going to do that.
And you just came off of a bunch of dates too.
Yeah,
right now, I'm
continuing.
hitting up Mark on like a rest day.
That's right.
And I'm making you work on a rest day.
Taking it easy today. Taking it easy with Melon on my rest day. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're just kind of getting a lot of this off the ground. You're just kind of first now experiencing this viral success. You're working with the booking agent. You're getting these shows. You're getting these warm receptions everywhere that you're going and performing. Like, where exactly do you see yourself taking it from here? Are you going to just continue touring until you break something and then you'll be forced to kind of like morph this into something else? Or is there kind of like another level to this that you sort of see coming down the road? Or is this just like all so intense that all you can like really do is just be in the moment and just think about getting to the next show, finishing the next performance, putting out the next video?
It's a little bit of that right now.
Yeah.
It's definitely a little bit of like, there's just way too much to be done like on a day-to-day basis for me to like try and concretely plan for the future. But what I would love to do is like build this thing up to the point where I can do like a special. You know, I can do like
a Jimmy Fallon invite.
Oh,
where's the Jimmy Fallon invite?
Hey Jimmy. Hey Jimmy.
Hit him up, Jim.
Conan, I'd really love Conan, to be honest with you.
Conan's great.
That's my guy.
Conan's great.
That's my guy. I mean, that's a special man right there.
It's true.
That's a special man.
And he would appreciate what you do.
Because he sort of helped Reggie Watts get that.
Conan would have you on, and he would appreciate what you do. Jimmy Fallon would have you on, and he'd just be like, oh. You know.
You know what, Jimmy Fallon? He's the audience.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
You just fucked up your Jimmy Fallon invite.
I'm sorry. You know what? I don't care. He's the audience.
Kimmel is still an option, though.
Kimmel's absolutely an option.
Kimmel's still an option.
Kimmel, Conan, Corden is the audience too, and you know, like I need a late night host.
He's charming, though.
He's charming. Yes, he's charming. He has an accent.
He's pudgy. He has an accent.
People love that shit.
People love it.
They love that shit.
And
he has more than one person on the couch.
Yep.
That's novel.
And he could even have you karaoke in the car too.
Yeah.
So you know, that's an option as well.
Oh God, yeah. I mean,
what's going to be your go-to carpool karaoke pick?
James Corden singing "Look at That Ass." I don't know. What do you think? I think "Stop That Rape" would really be the one to go for.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
That's guaranteed viral hit right there.
Which speaking of which, that is a track of Mark's, which underrated progressive king in the meme community, in my opinion.
Yeah, unintended. Completely unintended. But I got to tell you, it's weird at all of my shows having crowds of people going, "Stop that rape! Stop that rape!" Just yelling this in a venue. I'm like, guys.
Yeah. To demand the sound, to demand the song, but outside of that context, someone might think there's an emergency.
Yeah, someone walking outside of the venue just like, what the fuck is going on?
Call the police.
Call the police. Yeah. We got to be careful.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So. I guess tell me a bit of a war story. What's one of the weirdest things that happens at these shows? Because I imagine with your energy, with your content, you do attract some pretty eccentric individuals. I mean,
Definitely.
I just do music reviews, know, and there was a man at a performance that I did that showed up with a decapitated mannequin head.
Holy shit.
And he was a very tall, thin man, so when he held the head up high, it was the tallest thing in the crowd. So, and it was a shadowy place. So, he was maybe a 6'4", a 6'3".
Yeah.
So a slender man looking character in the shadows with a head held above him. And then he was kind of, as the show was going on, he was making his way to the side of the stage to where he was holding the mannequin head out over the guardrail of the stage.
Jesus Christ. And you're just trying to do your thing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do my thing. And then I took the mannequin head from him. And I was glad that he came to the front of the stage into the light, so I might need a description for the police report.
Yeah, right.
And I could tell them what he looks like.
I love shit like that, though.
Anything crazy at that, like at a Mark show?
Yeah. Well, there was one thing which we actually got on tape. It's on my channel, but it's definitely the weirdest or the most outlandish thing that's happened yet. Is I was doing a show at this restaurant. I used to do a show out in Dallas, and I used to live stream all of these shows every week, so you could see people being very uncomfortable while I was doing my thing. And someone came up to me and asked me, I asked them like what they wanted me to do. And they were like, do something extreme, man. Just do something extreme. I was like, all right, I'll do something extreme. So I sort of launched into this scene about like a child drowning, and like parents by the pool.
Yep.
And this kid drowning, and the parents, oh my God, and getting the kid, and then CPR. He's dying. And so
sounds like the intro to a Lars von Trier film.
Yeah.
You just
it's Antichrist, essentially. I was doing Antichrist.
It's shot in black and white.
Yeah.
And
Fucking Lars von Trier. I love him so much. Just pissing people off. Dude. That's like his career is pissing people off. I love it. Not the Hitler shit, though. Cut that out, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was doing this bit, and somewhere in the middle of it, I didn't see this, but...
So you had music playing, and it was narrative?
At this point, all the music was gone. I was doing like a multi-character thing using the pitch shifter, where I like would go high for the mother, low for the dad, and they were having a conversation. You call the police! No, I don't know. I don't have my phone. But oh, Jesus, And so while this is going on, apparently this very drunk dad, it was the day of the World Cup, very drunk dad who had his kid and wife there, which, what are you doing at a bar? But he comes up behind me and unplugs my shit. He just unplugs it. Someone in the audience goes, hey, dude, a guy just like unplugged your stuff. I was like, what the fuck just happened? So I turn around, and this guy is like giving the whole restaurant the finger. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Some bad energy.
Bad energy. Really fucked the whole vibe up. The owner of the restaurant comes, kicks him out. A fan of mine who had been coming to a bunch of shows makes a beeline for this dude and starts to like throw down. He's like, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Why do you bring your kid in here, bro? I'm like, dude, you don't need to do this. We're in a restaurant. Just let it happen. So anyway, I had to like recover from that and plug my shit back in, and we got it back up in the next hour or so. But that shit is just intense, dude. It's like
one of my favorite live clips of you is performing in what looks like a class. You're in like a school setting or something.
Yeah.
You're like,
it was the last day for a senior high school,
and everybody looked like they were pretty chill and sitting down and not really knowing what to expect. And then by the end of it, you kind of whipped them up into a frenzy. How exactly did that performance come about?
Well, that was in Dallas. This guy came to see one of my shows, and he was like, yo, I'm a teacher.
I'm a teacher. I'm the superintendent.
Yeah, I'm the superintendent. You got to come talk about asses at my school. No, he was like, dude, the kids would love this. And believe it or not, that was actually the high school I went to and graduated from.
Oh, wow.
So he was like...
Coming really full circle.
Yeah. It's an arts high school. He was like, if you just wanted to come and bring your shit on the last day of class, we're not doing anything. Come set up in the basement.
It's an arts high school, too, so it's kind of a creative experience. So people are seeing like what you can do.
Right. Right. And then there happened to be a bunch of dancers there. Mm-hmm. And so as I was like laying down a little beat, they all decided to get up and do this choreographed dance in front of me. I was just like, this is incredible. I am not getting paid for this, and I am thrilled about it. Yeah. And they are just killing it. It was awesome. It was great.
No, I mean, it is great. It is my dream to get invited back to my high school to review an album in front of the student body. That would just be
review a student album.
Yeah, review a student album in front of the student body.
Yeah. John Richardson's album Blue Moods, not good.
I have a friend of mine.
Just rip him a new asshole.
I have a friend of mine who does some editing for me, and he works in the school system, and he tells me about how all the kids have their mixtapes these days, their friends' mixtapes. Yeah. Everybody's got a SoundCloud.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they found out he has a bit of a musical endeavor of his own. So, he had people saying like, "Oh, well, I'm making music," or are you on SoundCloud? I'm on SoundCloud. And he's like, I'm not here to trade SoundClouds with you.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, everyone. I mean,
so I literally could probably review at least a dozen student body mixtapes.
You could.
Going down to the school.
I feel like that's like the blessing and the curse of this new musical landscape, isn't it? Is that like we now have this explosion in creation and in the amount of shit that we have to listen to and the amount of good shit that's out there. But that also comes with like an
even
explosion
all the
bad
good
shit.
shit, you would die before you heard it all.
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely.
Not even accounting for the bad stuff.
Right.
You would die before you even found or heard all the good stuff.
That's true.
There's really that much of it out there.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. It's extraordinary.
It feels like as an audience you're kind of spoiled.
Yeah. I feel almost overburdened. Like what the fuck should I listen to now?
But simultaneously, it feels like the value of everything has dropped.
Yeah.
Do you personally feel that as an artist? I mean, obviously, up until this point, I'm sure you sort of suffered.
You feel like you mean like the significance of releases,
significance, and also like trying to make a living what you're doing as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think because there are so many people ready and willing, and because there's not like a sort of system designed to bring certain people into the spotlight and promote them and grow and all this shit. It's like, yeah, you're just another person like trying to make music, and definitely devalued for sure. But on the other side of that coin, like you have complete autonomy. I mean, you can sort of orchestrate your career however you want. And if it happens to be something that people are interested in, like they'll just take you there.
Your career literally turns into an open world RPG.
Yeah, exactly. It's Red Dead Redemption.
Whereas back in the day, it was a little bit more of like a Zelda Link to the Past. You have like a very, very concrete
linear journey. Water temple, you play the gig, and then you unlock the diamond, and
maybe there's a few, detours here and there if you really want to collect all the golden skultas.
Right,
you
the
could.
Side quests.
Yeah, exactly. You could, but you don't really need to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and eventually you're in front of Ganondorf at the top of the fucking
No matter
castle.
what you do, you're at Ganondorf. It's all just like window dressing to the same journey.
It's just a matter of time.
These days, you're just playing Skyrim.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Bumbling around, farting around, killing pedestrians,
Yeah.
Teleporting to Zone B. I don't know. I clearly don't know what the fuck happens in that game.
It's medieval.
You know what?
Yeah.
Oblivion. I played a lot of Oblivion, dude.
Got it.
Played a lot of Oblivion.
Got it.
Yeah. That's a great game.
Yeah, it is a good game.
Great game.
I'm trying to get back into gaming myself. I'm ready to play that new Smash Brothers.
Oh, there's a new Smash Brothers?
It's coming out December 7th.
Oh, shit.
Ready to play that shit.
Dude, I used to be deep into gaming and have totally left it by the wayside.
Yeah.
And it makes me really sad because I derived a lot of pleasure from that.
And games are more amazing than they've ever been, too. So
that's what I hear.
Yeah.
Sometimes I see some of my roommates play, and I watch them from time to time, and they're fucking just gorgeous, stunning, fucking beautiful open worlds, and I'm missing out. Definitely missing out.
Well, the beauty of Smash for me is that I can get as into it or as out of it as I want to be because it's all compartmentalized into these short fights and matches.
That's true, just a
Whereas,
burst.
like, most video games I see these days, they're fucking movies.
Yeah.
They're playable movies.
It's true.
And it's like, I don't have time for a regular fucking movie. I don't want a movie I can play.
60 hours later, you're like, oh, man.
The movie's over.
Yeah.
60 hours
We're
later.
done with chapter 1. It's like, Jesus Christ.
But if you have the time to commit to that, it's amazing.
Oh, for sure.
It's
for
great.
sure. Beautiful, big experiences that are fulfilling. And like these studios are pumping like $100 million into these things.
I was just watching this hilarious clip of somebody playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and it was like this black girl streaming the game, and she ran across a part in the game where I guess you run into, and everything in the game is like an option. You know what I mean? You can or you can't. How you act depends on what sort of character or person you become in the game. Yeah. And she stumbles upon this point in the game where you're at a KKK meetup. So she just like puts on Outcast, and she just like blasts them all away. She puts bombs over Baghdad on the Twitch stream, and she's just like and just like blasts all of them away.
That's the beauty of modern gaming, I guess.
Absolutely.
You can do that.
You just sort of become whatever character that you want, and you just like do whatever.
It's great therapy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
All right. Well, it's been a great interview. It's been great talking to you, man.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, I got to tell you, it's surreal having you here. I've been watching you since I was not a little child, but a smaller child.
Smaller child.
How
old are you now?
29. I'm going to be 30.
Okay.
We're
not even that much of an age difference.
Yeah, I know, but it feels like I have a history.
So when you were a little child,
I mean, little child is in 24.
Like when I was in college, you were in high school.
Right. Yeah. We're not that far apart.
Although I have done shows where people have said to me like, dude, I've been watching you since 6th grade, bro.
Holy shit.
And it's like, it's weird. I'm like, I'm your internet dad or something.
Right.
You know?
And you are.
Yeah.
You are. You have to accept that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, dude.
When you feel like people look up to you for that.
For fatherhood, for fatherly advice.
Yeah.
And you have to step up to that role. You know,
Yeah.
that's just you. That's who you are now. Yeah.
Someone's internet daddy.
Seriously, it's like, yeah, I mean, I respect your opinions enormously. You put in the work, and you have been putting in the work for like years and years, and that's super admirable. And yeah, pleasure to just be able to do this, dude.
Well, you know, even though my consumption of what you're doing has been short term, it is still surreal always to sort of meet someone from the internet and sort of see them in person.
It is weird.
See their real physical being.
Yeah.
Confirm that I'm not living in like the Matrix or some kind of version of the Truman Show.
I just start to dissolve.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
like in the Avengers movie. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Thank you very much, man.
Thanks, Anthony.
I will leave information and links to all of Marc's stuff and videos, YouTube channel, social media down there in the description box, of course. And yeah, you know, we'll see you online. And you know, there will also be information down there for Marc's upcoming tour. Do go out and see him live as soon as possible. A lot of shows.
A lot of shows coming up.
For the foreseeable future, this man's going to be touring like an insane person. So see him at a venue near you.
Yes, please do.
And don't unplug his shit. Okay?
Don't you dare unplug
Don't you
my
dare
shit.
unplug his fucking shit.
You
no matter where you
sons
are.
of bitches. Don't do it.
Anthony Fantano, Marc Rebillet, forever.